Hi everyone, welcome back to GreyBeard Media. Today we're outside Liverpool Crown Court. It's day 2 of the Paul Doyle trial, and yeah, we'll go into day 1 briefly before going into the rest about the whole situation of what this man did and what he denies. This is the worst criminal trial Liverpool's seen in years. Trial of Paul Doyle, the man accused of ploughing his Ford Galaxy into crowds of Liverpool supporters during the title-winning parade on 26th of May 2025. Over 130 people, from young children to pensioners, were injured in the chaos. Families torn apart. Celebrations turned into horror. And the city's still trying to understand how and why this happened. Today I'll walk you through what we learned on day 1, what we can expect on day 2, and break down Doyle's life, background and the charges he faces. And at some point during this, if we hear any information that comes to hand on day 2, I'll bring to you straight away. So without further ado, I'll run the intro. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe all. I was there as it happened. When it happened, I was in the neighbouring street. I could hear all the commotion. I could hear all the sirens. I could hear a lot of scared people who are now having to bear the scars, probably for life. I'll run the intro. Move back all. And welcome back everyone. So yesterday was day 1. Quick recap, the first glimpse of Paul Doyle. Before we walk and talk about the day 2, let's recap what we learned about day 1, because it was set the tone for the entire trial. The atmosphere inside the Liverpool Crown Court was intense. For many victims and their families, this was the first time seeing Paul Doyle since the incident, and what we saw surprised even seasoned court reporters. Doyle was emotional, shaking, crying, head buried in his hands. Several times officers had to hand him tissues. This is the man prosecutors say used his car as a weapon. I couldn't agree more. Day 1 showed defendant visibility struggling. Next came the formal swearing in of the jury. 12 people, 7 men, 5 women, now responsible for deciding his fate. The judge, His Honour Andrew Mannery KC, issued a strict warning: no outlined influence, no social media, no speculation. Decide only on evidence, which is fair enough. We also learn the full scale of charges. Doyle faces 31 counts, including that he denies: causing grievously bodily harm with intent, attempting GBH, wounding with intent, dangerous driving, and of course affray. Some of these accounts were recently amended, showing the prosecution has been tightening its case. Doyle pleaded not guilty to everyone. Seriously, not guilty? How do you explain tailgating an ambulance into a zone he knew very well was going to be overcrowded by Liverpool supporters, and your audacity to plead not guilty to all 31 counts? I ain't buying that, and I just hope the jury ain't buying that either. Obviously he's going to fight his corner. Obviously day 1 didn't deliver evidence, but it gave us our first look at the man at the centre of this storm. This courtroom is bracing itself were weeks of intensity. So to understand the trial, we have to understand the man, Paul Doyle, a former Royal Marine, a father of 3, a man living in the Liverpool area, someone who, according to neighbours, never raised red flags, a man whose own wife reportedly found out about his arrest from the media. The picture painted as unusual. Former military, disciplined, trained, structured, a family man, by some accounts a local business owner. So how does this man end up accused of one of the Liverpool's worst public safety incidents in recent memory? Prosecutors say it was deliberate. The defence will argue otherwise. Doyle's background will be critical when the court weighs motive, intent, and of course his state of mind. So the incident and what happened on May 26, 2025. The incident took place during Liverpool Football Club's victory parade, which I was very much part of. Tens of thousands celebrated the Premier League triumph on Water Street. Shortly after 6 PM, Doyle's Ford Galaxy eventually broke past the traffic cordon, and I was just walking down the very next street as this was happening. It drove into crowds of supporters leaving the parade route, victims from a 6-month-old infant to supporters in their 70s. A massive emergency response followed. Fire crews, medics, police, people trapped under the vehicle, families screaming. A night meant for celebration became carnage and chaos and heartbreak as well. The prosecution claims this was no accident, that Doyle aimed his vehicle intentionally. Yet, we all know the defence argues a different story. That's what this trial must decide, and this destiny is in the hands of 12 people, jurors. So it's time to get into the legal backbone of this case, the charges. A couple of officers there with their Gregs, of course. Paul Doyle faces 31 separate charges. These include multiple counts of GBH with intent, attempted GBH, wounding with intent, dangerous driving affray, attempted wounding. The victims in these counts, total 29 individuals, brought the wider injury count to over 130. Prosecuting said they have CCTV footage, witness statements, expert collision analysts, medical reports, scene reconstruction evidence. The defence has not yet revealed its full strategy, but given the full not guilty pleas, they will challenge intent, state of mind, and potentially his reliability of accounts of such a chaotic event. Day 2 is likely to be dominated by prosecution, witness statements. This is where we learn his narrative. So, as we wait for day 2, the trial and tribulations, it's all panning out. Our court, this intense, criminal ways of what he did. Now in Liverpool, football isn't just a game. It's a way of life. It's family. It's unity. And this cut to the heart of many people in this city. People injured ranged from babies to pensioners, the most vulnerable, and they're left with lifelong trauma, physical, emotional. There's also a lot of anger about it, of course, and there would be. How a vehicle reached the crowd in the first manner. Even the event safety measures. Whether it's could have been prevented, it should have been prevented. Trial just isn't a legal process, it's a chance for families to hear the truth and possibly to find closure. So Liverpool is watching, and the world is watching too, very closely. So yeah, I mean, just thinking back, you know, I was there filming the piece the day after it happened, and all the forensic team was still there, gathering the evidence. I was filming there alongside a lot of the news crews. I will put that in the end of this video if you want to go and do a recap, but I'm just standing at the back of the courts, and apparently day 2 of the trial started on 10:30. I put some mug shots of what it looked like going into court today. Yeah, still got that face on them, you know, these sketches they make, you know, the way they look. In my opinion, they can paint the sadness as much as they like. They know exactly what they did on that day. It is what it is. So there's going to be two sides, and hopefully the right side is where he gets put away for a long time for what he did to those 130 victims on the day. It's supposed to have been celebration. Turned into a lot of trauma and heartbreak. So a lot of the camera crews have come right close to the court. All set up pretty much there now. All gathered. I was just checking the Merseyside website, and Paul Doyle today has pleaded guilty to 31 counts. Causing grievously bodily harm with intent. Doyle, formerly of Berg Hill Road, West Derby. Related to the incident on Water Street, Liverpool, May 2026, and the Ford Galaxy drove into the crowd of pedestrians. Today, Doyle pleaded guilty to 70 counts of attempted cause of grievous bodily harm. So yesterday, pleaded not guilty. Today he's pleaded guilty. So we are just waiting now for further information. Me, along with all the other outlets just here. So at the end of the day, bank to rights. Yeah, you got all the evidence stacked against him. You got the witness statements, step by step of what happened. He did the right thing in pleading guilty at the end of the day. So we're just waiting here at the front of the courtrooms. Any more information? The case has been adjourned for sentencing on the 15th and 16th of December. And of course, Doyle has been further reprimanded into custody until those dates of the sentencing. 15th and 16th of December, we'll find out his sentence.
They'll walk out, so you can film them from when they're walking out there aware, and then they just do their statement, CPS first, and then please, and then they will finish, turn around. Okay? Yeah, do you want there's our statement? And I think the police is John McGregor, isn't it? Is it John McGregor, Claire? Oh, John Fitzgerald. I'm well on it with accuracy.
Now I have just been handed a statement from the CPS Cheshire Chief Crown Prosecutor Sarah Hammond. So I'll read to you what she said. Sarah Hammond, the Chief Crown Prosecutor of the CPS Mersey Cheshire, said, "Today's convictions bring a measure of justice for an act that caused unimaginable harm during what should have been a day of celebration."
As far forward as you can, please, to the mics.
Today's convictions bring a measure of justice for an act that caused unthinkable harm during what should have been a day of celebration for the city of Liverpool. Paul Doyle has been held responsible for his deliberate actions that endangered lives and brought chaos upon a community. A total of 134 people were injured, including children as young as 6 months. This attack did not just harm individuals, it struck at the heart of a city united in joy, leaving fear in its wake. By entering guilty pleas, Doyle has finally accepted that he intentionally drove into crowds of innocent people during Liverpool FC's victory parade. Dashcam footage from Doyle's vehicle showed that as he approached Dale Street and Water Street, he became increasingly agitated by the crowds. Rather than wait for them to pass, he deliberately drove at them, forcing his way through. Driving a vehicle into a crowd is an act of calculated violence. This was not a momentary lapse by Paul Doyle. It was a choice he made that day, and it turned celebration into mayhem. I would like to commend the bravery of the emergency services who acted swiftly at the scene. There can be no doubt that their actions saved lives. Liverpool as a city has shown resilience and unity in the face of this awful act, and I hope the victims, their families, and anyone affected will feel that justice has been done.
Paul Doyle has today pleaded guilty to 31 counts of causing grievous bodily harm with intent, wounding with intent, attempting to cause GBH with intent, dangerous driving and affray, in relation to the shocking incident that unfolded in Liverpool city centre on the afternoon of the 26th of May this year. It is hard to forget the shocking scenes from that day. What should have been a day of celebration for the city turned into a distressing and frightening experience, which we know continues to have physical and psychological impact on many people. Thousands of people have gathered in the city to watch the Liverpool FC parade, and it's only by sheer luck that nobody was killed because of Doyle's deliberate actions. In just 7 minutes, his dangerous driving meant that his car had collided with more than 100 people, including children, in some cases trapping them underneath the vehicle and causing serious injuries. The exceptional work of the emergency services, including police, Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service, the North West Ambulance Service and His Majesty's Coast Guard, should be recognised as they came to the aid of victims, extracting 4 people from underneath Doyle's car and treating a number of others. We know that a lot of people are still recovering from the injuries they suffered on that day, and our thoughts remain with them and those who continue to be affected. Doyle was quickly apprehended by officers at scene and has been in custody since. We have been working closely with our colleagues at the Crown Prosecution Service ahead of this trial. I'd also like to acknowledge the mutual aid assistance we received from neighbouring police forces during the investigation. Doyle has today pleaded guilty to all offences and will now be sentenced on the 15th and 16th of December. We hope that the knowledge that Doyle is now facing the prospect of a considerable prison sentence will be able to help those affected and move on with their lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Doyle has accepted he purposely aimed his car towards the Liverpool supporters and drove through because he felt frustrated. That's no excuse in my opinion. He weaponised the vehicle just because he got a bit angry. What if everybody did that, yeah? What if everybody did that? He knew what he did. And it's no, for me, the sentencing on the 15th or 16th. I'll try and be here by then, December. He's accepted responsibility for doing what he did. For a long time he denied everything. So hopefully karma is finally going to come to him, and he served a long time for what he did. This has been GreyBeard Media at the Queen Elizabeth Court here in Liverpool city centre. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. We'll be bringing more media stories to you soon. It's one thing I need to be doing more of. I was part of this, I was there celebrating, and I did hear all the commotion. I did film the day after this to bring you what all the news crews were filming. Now they're all going away now. Paul Doyle is guilty, and he's pleaded guilty. We'll await the sentencing. See you next time all. Bye for now.